Hi, thanks for joining us for another edition of Chronic Conversations. As always, I am your host, Jerry Leonard, aka Jerry Anderson. And in the studio with me today is a BKFC fighter who has a fight coming up with the BKFC April 9th in Harlingen, Texas. Did I say that right? Do you know if I
Yes,
said
you
that right?
did.
All right, and his name is Ron Guerrero. Ron, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it taking the time. Yes, sir.
Yes, and before we get into the meat of the issue, which is your upcoming Juan Torres fight, y'all had previously fought before. Is that correct?
Yes, we did. We fought for a title. It was a ABO title that we fought for. Uh, yes, we did, and he won. He got the better hand of it. I mean, I'm not making no excuses. Injuries come with fights. I'm not saying I put out a fight. I never have and never will. And that's just the type of fighter I am. I'm going to take it as it is.
Right, right. So I know your promoters are counting on you and things like that, and I've heard this question asked before. So is it just because of the opportunity that you have to fight through those injuries and not push it off, or is it like
As a fighter, you always want to be 100% when you go into a fight, and always a fighter is never 100%. There's
right?
always
Never.
something tweaking in there somewhere. But this fight, uh, I've been good. I've been treating myself. I'm don't want to jinx myself, but I'm injured free. It's gonna be good. This fight's gonna go in. Hopefully, going 100% and and healthy.
Yeah. So you are feeling really good for this one. Do you think the outcome's going to be different
Oh,
on your
sure. Oh,
side?
it's gonna be a lot different. I believe we're fighting 10 rounds for the WBCF free car box title is what we have.
Okay.
It's not the
Okay.
Latino. It's for the for a car box title is what we're fighting.
Got you.
It's 10 rounds.
10 rounds. And how long is each round?
It's gonna be 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay. So it's a full boxing round then.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a long fight.
And what is the rule set like for this one? Is that something too? Is that something they bring to you and say these are the rules, or do you negotiate those kind of things as well?
You can negotiate these things, but when a fight comes, a title like this to you, you kind of present it to you. You take it as is,
Mhm.
and you know, we're just gonna go forward with this and just and have a good time.
Yeah, so you're just in it to pretty much have a good time, have fun. So you really enjoy fighting. How long have you been fighting?
Oh, I've been fighting for 36 years, maybe. I've
Oh
been
wow.
fighting for a long time. I've been fighting since the age of 8 years old. Uh, Started competing when I was 10 or 13, and I'm still doing it. I don't think I'm beat up, not yet. I think I can still compete with these young Thundercats, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the sport, and I love it.
I always heard it's not necessarily a fight that leads you to realize that you might need to ease into retirement. It's in the gym. Do you think that's true? Is it once those young guys do come in and you're just a little bit more tired than usual, you're maybe a little bit slower, a little bit off, like would you recognize that? Are you going to have somebody tell you, look, bro, like what kind of situation is that? Scheduled for
No,
10?
I do have people tell me that, man, Ron, you're really getting up to an age. Yeah, I do. I understand the physical parts of it, but I'm always in the gym. I'm never out the gym. I'm always staying active. I'm always either training myself. I'm always working with the kids. I have a boxing gym that I train boxers, and I'm always active. I'm always doing something. I'm not just home. I'm never just laying off.
Right, right. He had mentioned I have a little thing where people can comment, and Juan has actually jumped in. He said it is scheduled for 10, but you're going to sleep in 5. Now he seems really determined to do that. How do you deal with somebody who's so determined to put you to sleep? Do you just fight like you fight? Do you have did you train something new? Are you practicing something new maybe for this one? Are you just going to do the same thing you did in the last fight, and you think because of lack of injuries and you're in a better space, that's going to carry you through the win? Or how do you plan on dealing with that?
No, no, I'm not gonna change nothing different. Bond is nothing different. I've seen it all, and we want to stay there. He wants to exchange, and we're gonna stand our toe to toe. We're gonna do that. I never bowed down. Then I've always come forward. That's always been my style. and I've been in there with a lot of great heavyweights.
Mm-hmm.
With the Klitschko brothers, with Ron Kronsky, with Kurt Johnson, Michael Grant, and they did their best, and I stayed there toe to toe with them. So I want nothing different, no new breed. It's just another fight.
Just another fight, and I guess a lot of people do. Edward Ward, is that who is that? Dang one here. You already have several people following, so there's a lot of people out there that want to get your side of the story. So we talked a little bit before we went on air, and I was clued in a little bit to the average amount of time because, as I had stated, I'm kind of new to that part of things and not knowing exactly what goes on in negotiations and how long it takes from the time a promoter brings you a fight or you bring a promoter a fight, how long it takes to come to fruition. You were saying on average about a year. Is that correct?
Depending if you stay active in between, yeah. But like I said, I don't. The fight comes, I'll take it as it comes. I try to stay active as much as possible. But with this COVID, hit everybody hard, and I had to go fight in Mexico for a title, and I got the ABO title, which is a North Pacific title. And I won that one there because I had to because there was no fights here in the States.
Will one of those titles be up for grabs, you said, this coming one, right?
This upcoming one is going to be a 10-rounder, and I believe the one I have is 8, and the one Juan has is the 6-rounder. No, it's going to be a totally different belt. This is a 3-card box. The WBC belt, it'll be a 10-rounder.
Okay, so it will be a 10-rounder. That's a lot of time to be punching each other in the face.
It's a long time. It's okay.
Yeah, that's just a part of it, right?
It's just part of it. We just bang it out for 10 rounds.
Yeah. That's a lot of people don't realize how long 3 minutes are. They hear 3 minutes, and even in the amateurs, which is 2 minutes, is a lifetime if you're not conditioned at all. What do you say to the naysayers? I had talked to Juan about. I watch fights with people, and you got those people that say the most ludicrous things during a fight, like why didn't he move, things like that. Do you ever have non-knowledgeable fight fans, friends, try to give you advice that's just?
Oh, you get that kind of stuff all the time. Why didn't you do this and why did you do that? I said, well, why don't you try it for 3 minutes? Well, how long can 3 minutes be? I said, get in the ring. It makes a big difference when you're just in there with another individual and y'all just trying to bang it out for 3 minutes. A minute is a long time. 30 seconds fighting is a long time if you've never done it before. It's a long time.
It's a very long time. And as we were talking about a minute ago, average year, I know sometimes it can probably go much quicker, take a little bit longer to schedule the fight. Juan feels like it took a little bit longer for this one to get scheduled. Do you think it did? And if so, why did it? And what's your response to his saying that you've actually been running from him? Was that the case or?
No, it's not the case. Like I said, it was due to COVID, things like to that nature. And, as far as it getting scheduled, there's different promoters having to get the show together and having to agree to the fight, And as a matter of fact, me running, I don't buy that because after that fight, and even 2 weeks later, I called his manager.
Right.
I don't know if he knows it. And I called asking for a rematch. I told them this fight for me, and they said no. And as a matter of fact, they wanted to fight me for the WBF title, another junior title that was out there. I said, well, I'll fight him for that one. I said, let's make it. But then I fought Tuffy. He's from Dallas. And I beat him for the ABF title, and I got that title. And they just like
never responded.
I called, no answer, nothing. So I wasn't going to continue chasing them to fight for a title. I'm going to stay busy.
Well, the thing said about it, they said that you did not want to fight anywhere but at home, and that's why it took so long to get the fight made. Is there any truth to that? And if so, why didn't you want to have it in a neutral place? Why did you need it? Like, I'm not sure.
This one's in his hometown.
This one's in his hometown? No.
No, the fight that's going to happen now, the one that's going to happen now is going to be down in the valley. It's not in my hometown. It's down in the valley, and it's going to be a neutral place. So, hey, it ain't going to be in his hometown. It's going to be my hometown. It's going to be It'd be down south. It'd be in Harlingen. It's actually a neutral place. So he can't say it's going to be in my hometown. And if it doesn't matter if it's a hometown or not, you either fight to win or you're going to fight. You're going to lose. That's just the way boxing goes.
Right. And many of the combat sports, the saying is don't let it go to the judges. Is that your plans this time? Or are you somebody that likes to take it deep into the fight and try to end it there? Like what is normally something you like to do in fights?
The way I like to fight, I know it's just gonna be pressure. Pressure. We're just gonna be in there. We're just gonna be banging it out more than likely, and I want to be ready this time. Like I said, I had bursitis in my right shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that I've never had that type of pain before, man. But that shit hurts. But hey, it is what it is. It's a fight, man, and you can't.
Right.
You're not gonna pull out of a fight. I never have. I fought with a broken. I fought with a broken hand, fingers. I have lost one of my knuckles. I've had bumps my arms. I'm not gonna pull out of a fight. I'm not. I have pulled hamstrings.
Mm-hmm.
You need your legs when you fight.
Right.
But I'm not gonna pull out of a fight.
Well, I imagine once the adrenaline gets going, and either you land that first punch or they do, that all goes away anyway. You're just mentally now you're focused.
It does to a certain point, but once you throw
mm-hmm.
that certain move, you do that little twerk,
tweak it,
you feel it. You'll feel it.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I've done a lot of pro wrestling, and if things are too tweaked just because of the violence we put on our body, we definitely have to take time off to heal up properly so we can get back in there. But you're not only training but fighting through injuries. How in the world do you stay healthy for these fights? Like, I know fighters are never healthy, but is there anything you do specifically to try to keep yourself healthy?
You try. Like I said, you just want to always get back as a fighter mentality. You want to just get back in the gym and just start over. Just start with the basics, warming up, stretching, and things to that nature. But then when you start getting into the things and really start getting into it, you want to get back. I'm ready to fight, and you're really not 100%. But this fight, no,
it's all good.
It's to be very interesting. This fight's to be very interesting.
Now we have, Bob, I'll watch a couple months here before that happens. Do you have anything, because he talked about taking another fight in between, do you have anything planned in between possibly, or is that your next fight?
I could if I wanted to. No. Because Juan's nothing special. If he feels that he has to go get him another fight, let him go get him another fight. That's fine. That's fine by me. It doesn't matter to me. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do to prepare for this fight. And my game plan is not going to change.
How often does, I won't say a fighter, how often do you typically fight in 1 year? How many fights do you like to take in 1 year?
If I could, 2, 3. But
it's hard to do sometimes.
It's very hard to do, with the work schedule I have and things. We're in that shift work. It's hard, man. Boxers that work full time, support their families, and and train. It's hard. It's very hard. You have to make your time.
Speaking of money, do you have any sponsors that you wanted to give a shout out to while you have a chance? Or
at the moment, no, not yet. Not yet. We just started getting this thing rolling.
Okay.
So we haven't, kind of.
We're kind of jumping the gun just a little bit,
my
right?
manager handle kind of more of that part. I'm not gonna really get into it as much until it's presented to me, and then I'll start, doing what I have to do.
I got a Edward Ward. I guess somebody with Juan says that after this fight that you're going to be more than ready for retirement. Do you? Let's just say the worst happens. Is that something? What would have to happen before you decide to retire? Like you said, it's getting closer. So you're definitely closer to retirement than you are from the beginning of your career. So would lots do it, or are you just?
So what makes him think that I'm not training harder? I'm gonna prepare myself because I know this might be the last fight. I don't know.
Right.
I'm taking
every fight could be, right?
I'm taking every fight as if it's the last fight. I'm not taking it as I just started.
Right.
So it's gonna be different. That's all I can say. It's gonna be different, and they want to send us to go toe to toe, we can do that, and I'll do that. I've never been uh, hurt by anybody. I've been with the Klitschko brothers. I've been with Kirk Johnson. I've been with Michael Grant, and I've been there toe to toe with all of them, and they've
Right.
all told me, "Man, Ron, you could fight." You know.
Let me correct for my friends too. I was a little confused. Juan is in every combat sport there is. So, but this is going to be boxing, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I apologize. I had been stating it was going to be bare knuckles.
No,
So
no.
I do apologize for that. This is, they still going to be hitting each other in the face, but this one is
Yeah.
this is going to be boxing. Marcus of Queensberry rules. So let me just apologize for that real quick. Going forward, as they've talked about the title it's for and things like that, and then
Yes,
it is boxing.
I got you.
Um,
I just hope Juan just brings that same energy. I just
right.
hope he brings that same energy that he has and that he's throwing out. Because it's gonna be a very good show. Very good show.
It is going to be. Look, if you are anywhere near Texas, and we're looking at our income taxes, we're looking at days off and everything else, because I believe this one is going to be one of those underrated, not talked about, but fight of the years if people just catch it. Because I've was that my to be talking about a few. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, someone say.
Yeah, it's all that. What was I just saying? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I've been hitting the head a lot too, so I have to apologize.
It's all right. It happens. It happens.
Yeah, talking about coming from Georgia, that's going to be a great fight. So if you're anywhere near this, then you definitely need to go catch it, because no matter where they are on the card, I can almost guarantee you this is going to be the main event. I haven't been watching Juan for a long time, but he does seem a lot more intense and a lot more serious for this fight, for his own reasons, I suppose, some in which he gave you the last interview. We won't go into that, but you pretty much just seem like the type. You're just going into every fight. It's just another fight. Is there any emotion involved? Will you be bringing into you the fact that you lost the last fight? Will you just be, or again, is it just, for you, is it just another fight?
No, you can let your emotions get to you. If I've been in this fight business a long time, you can let your emotions get to you, and it'll eat you up. It'll burn you. It'll burn you up. All your adrenaline will get you spent. By the time you get to the fight, you're done.
Yeah.
You have no energy. So you have to learn to conserve yourself. So when that bell rings, there it goes.
That's just proof how much of it's actually psychological, right? Versus physical, because you can be in the best physical shape in the world, but you get that big adrenaline dump and
you're done.
Yeah, and like Carl Gotch said, conditioning can make cowards out of us all, right? You can't.
Oh yeah.
You can't fight. It doesn't matter how good a fighter you are. You said you might be training harder for this one, putting a little bit more into it. So I feel like this has a chance to become something that will resonate with people emotionally from either side. I've watched the comments from, your friends, family, fans on Facebook as well as his. It really is almost like a team thing, even though it's you in there in the ring. Does that bring any added pressure to it, that you have all these fans looking up to you and they want you to win, and, your coaches and...
No, it's good. It's good to have fans. It's good to have the support. But like I said, I've been in this game for a long time. You can't let that stuff affect you too much. You have to concentrate on yourself and on your opponent so that you can get your job done. You can't get sidetracked.
Right. And do you think you think that's maybe part of his plan, or do you think that he just
ready?
He's ready.
He's ready. I mean, he's pumped. I mean, he's been doing his talking so with that, and I enjoy it. I'm ready. I want to be ready that day. We'll be ready. We'll get in that ring, and if that bell rings,
that's when it's decided one way or another, right? Then all the talking is done. Once that bell rings, then it's fight time.
It's fight time, and then make the best man win.
May the best man win.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about every fight could possibly be your last. What's it like when you go out? Are you absorbing everything because it might be your last time? Are you trying to take it all in, or are you just too focused on the fight? What's your mentality like right as music hits and you're about to walk out?
At that moment of time when that music hits, my adrenaline's running. I'm excited. I'm trying to be composed at the same time. But then
Right.
again, like I said, it could be my last. So I'm gonna give it all I got. You know, and I hope he's preparing, and I hope he's gonna be uh, give it everything he got, because I'm gonna give it everything I got and some. You
Because
know,
real fighters really do want somebody to be at 100%. So that way, because that eliminates all excuses, right?
exactly.
And then it's literally just the better man.
That's all it comes down to. The better man. The better man.
And I know you say every fight is possibly your last fight and stuff. Is there anything ahead of this you're looking at, or are you solely focused at this time on this fight, one fight at a time type of thing?
No, I focus on one fight at a time. I mean, you just, like I said, you can't be looking sideways. You get sidetracked, and you're gonna lose focus on what you're fighting. Who are you fighting?
Mm-hmm.
Juan's a very rugged fighter. And I gotta be ready for that. It's kind of hard. You meet someone who fights just like you, and you got
Right.
rugged people against each other. You know what I'm saying?
Another reason it's going to be such a great fight. Yeah, it's
two people just going at it toe to toe. It's exciting.
That is, and it is April 9th. Be sure. I believe that he said it's going to possibly be on pay-per-view too.
Yes.
So if you can't make it out there, which I would suggest, because there is nothing like a live boxing match. That's my wife. Yeah, commenting. I took her to her first live one. She had never even watched boxing before, really, and was an instant fan. So if you can get tickets to get there live, I would suggest that first. Even if it's a couple hour drive or whatever.
They come in 16 and a half hours.
Yeah, because we'll be coming 16 and a half hours.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. And this is just one fight on the card. There's going to be plenty of other fights. I still believe this one's going to be the main event no matter where it's at, just because of the desire for both of you to win, because a lot of times they say that's what it comes down to. You hear in football, who wants to win it more. What does that mean to you, who wants to win it more? How is that shown?
It shows, like I said, it comes to the guy who has the most heart, want to dig down deep. And, fighting comes from the stomach, but winning comes from the heart.
Gotcha.
I've always stuck to that motto, no matter what.
And I was joking with one lady online. She had mentioned to calm down because this wasn't that serious. And I had mentioned that she said it's just a sport. And I said, no, it's not just a sport. Football's a sport because you can't play fighting, which is a common combat fighting saying. Though technically it has rules and it is a sport, it's not a street fight. What I meant by that is two guys are going in there and literally risking their life. People die in the ring. It's happened before in the past, and I'm sure it'll definitely happen in the future. So it isn't just a sport. It isn't just a thing that you need to chill out about. These people are putting their lives on the line. Does it upset you when people look at it with such, like it's not that big a deal? Because it's a much bigger deal than they could ever imagine, especially if you've never been in there before.
Yeah, you get a lot of people like that kind of attitude that way, that, it's dangerous. Everything's dangerous.
Right.
The COVID's dangerous. You're
Right.
walking in the streets, you can catch COVID, and you're just walking the street. You never done nothing in your life. You never done anything extra physical, and you catch COVID, and look what happens. Anything. Or you could drive on the car, drive to the store in your car, and something happens.
Right.
It's just one of those things. That boxing is just a sport.
Right. And do you ever have you ever been in a position where a family member or something maybe was worried about you or didn't want you to fight anymore? Or how do you deal with those kind of things? Because
I get that. I get that now, and I still get it to this day. Like I said, I treat every fight like it's my last. Because I get it all the time.
Now, is that something new since you're entering this phase, or is that something you've always done since the very first one? Is that a mentality you've always had?
Always, like I said, everybody thinks boxing is a dangerous sport. It is a dangerous sport because it's only you and the other guy. That's it. Right. It's only one-on-one. It's not a team effort.
Somebody could go to sleep. Somebody could, literally be put unconscious, concussions. There's lots of injuries that could happen, and they don't always. They try to make it as safe as they can, but you're definitely taking that chance, right? So it's not like, and they do, and I don't mean to downplay football either, because there's a lot of problems in football with CTE and several things. As a matter of fact, in a lot of ways, combat sports may be a little safer. On your end, let's go back to the friends and stuff that tell you maybe it's too dangerous, and you're talking about, everyday dangers. Has there ever been a time where something got in your mind where it did affect you, or do you just you're at a point now to where you just push through and you're just ready to go mentally?
Yeah, I mean, I think about it. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't be human if I didn't think about it.
Right.
Of course, every fighter thinks of something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always something that could happen or that is wrong with you. Like I said before you go to the fight, But
mm-hmm.
Hey, it's boxing, man. It's the only pure sport left.
Yeah,
it's and you're gonna go
it's
out
the
there
truth. You can't. Yeah,
win.
Yeah, you can't. Combat sports is the one place where it doesn't matter what you said outside of it or how good you've talked yourself up. The truth will always come about within the fight, right? There's always a truth to it because there's going to be a winner. There's going to be a loser.
Oh yes, always going to be a winner, always be a loser. But that's why boxing is good. That's why I say it's either win or lose. The draws is the sad part that kind of get you. Like, if I would have done more punch, or man, if I would have did this different, I would have got the decision. But it is what it is.
I know it's expected you would do that in a loss, but in wins, do you ever, are you critical of those two? Do you think, if you got a knockout in the fifth round, do you think I should have got it in the fourth? Even though you won by points, do you think maybe I should have won by more points? Or do you still think I could have done things differently? Are you still tweaking and tightening, or is that more of something that comes with a loss?
So sometimes when you're there in the fight and your adrenaline's running, man, I should have did this. I could have knocked them out sooner or anything like that. But now if it comes, it comes. Don't go looking for it.
Right.
But there's a lot of fighters do that. They go out there and they look for the knockouts and they put that pressure on themselves. No, if it comes, it comes. If it's happened, it's going to happen.
Right, because you're both pressure fighters anyway. So
yeah.
The head's already trying to be taken off.
Through all rounds. And this would be 10 rounds of just happening, trying to take your head off.
Well, man, before we go, for your fans and stuff, because I seen you had a lot, do you have any place where they can go check you out? Facebook? Do you have a website? Do you have merchandise?
At the moment, no, but they want to catch me. They can catch me on my Facebook. They can probably see me catch me as far as just training clips, maybe. But I'm getting ready. Juan knows I'm getting ready, and I hope he's getting ready. But like I said, it's what we do, man. It's what we do.
And before we go, what is your prediction for this fight?
Prediction? It kind of sounds like a rocket type of question, but
yeah.
No, I was just thinking it'd be fun. All I can tell you, he just better be ready, be prepared.
Okay.
Do what he has to do. That's all I can say.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining me and giving me a piece of your time. I appreciate that. I appreciate you reaching out to the show. I hope you feel like you got your side across. If you ever have another fight and want to talk about it, give us a holler and we'll bring you on that. If you'll wait just a moment, I'm going to end the podcast and then I'll get with you right quick after we cut the live feed, and then I'll let you go from there.
But Ron knows that I wasn't running from him.
So you say not only was you not running from him, but he knows it.
Oh, he knows it, because I called these people after that for a rematch, and they never agreed to anything. I called them back for a rematch. They never said nothing. After I fought Tuffy, they didn't want to fight. So, hey.
So maybe that's a question for him, right? Why didn't you want to fight after Tuffy? We'll definitely we'll definitely get that to him. Somebody say wait. All right. Well, thank you so much again for joining the show. Like I said, hang on. Let me just close this out, and we'll give my sponsors a shout out real quick because I forgot to at the beginning of it, and then we'll get out of here. He said you call him. I think that's what's happening, sir. Now you done mess up. But I'd like to thank my sponsor, starting with Thompson Personal Training. Sean Thompson will be with me live February 9th. If you have any questions, send them in or type here. I try to look as much as I can and answer as many questions as I can. Sometimes it's hard because, I'm trying to focus on the guest. At some point in time, I'll have my wife handling that part of it. But until then, thank you for your patience. Feel free to DM me any questions you have after the show. I feel great to answer them. When I share the video, come on there if you have any extra questions or anything. I'm sure the gentlemen would be happy to answer those as well. Thank you to Not Bad Creations for all your paracord needs. And thank you to Jesse's Resale. We appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching another edition of Chronic Conversations. And I'm Jerry Leonard, and I'm out. Say bye, beautiful co-host Jen Leonard.
Peace.
Peace. Except for this fight, no peace.
No peace.